experience the full power of the dark side. Good!
We will deal with your rebel friends soon enough.
What the? Ah! Misa back!
Prepare to fire!
Oh no!
Hello everyone and welcome back to Star Wars Beyond the Stars for episode number 4, recorded on Monday, September 8th, 2014. We're back after our Labor Day break. And joining me tonight is, of course, my representative from Imperial Intelligence, Agent Olan.
Hello, Fred! Welcome back from the holiday. Hello, Twitch. Hello, YouTube. What's going on?
It wasn't much of a holiday spending all of ZZ's money at the casino.
Yeah, we still lost a lot. Damn odds.
We didn't lose, just Super the Hutt's money. We should probably tell people, yeah, we picked ZZ up again. Hey, ZZ.
Hello. I hunt bounty.
And of course, Captain Kimbre is here as well.
Hello, everyone.
And Shriek. And ID10T. Alright, and as a reminder, you can find out more about our show at StarWarsBeyond.com. We're also available in iTunes and on Stitcher Radio. You can like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/StarWarsBeyondPodcast. Or you can send us an email to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. You can always tweet us at StarWarsBeyond. And we record this show live Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/NoSHTGaming. And Paige, what do we have coming up in the Captain's Log tonight?
Coming up in the Captain's Log, we have our 2 weeks in game. That's right, 2 weeks. Woo woo. Update 2.1 rolling out, and SWTOR Miner dug up the Conquest schedule. Agent Olan's...
Well, mathematically speaking, you would be correct that Update 2.1 would be rolling out. But since BioWare has no regard for math, this would be Update 2.10.
So...
Update 2.10 is rolling out tonight, right, Lou?
If they keep the schedule, yes. By tomorrow morning, they should be rolling it out, but more on that later.
So I like how you just interrupted the Captain's Log. This is the Captain's Log. Why are you speaking?
You're a smuggler. Quiet Republic.
I'm working for you! Talking about Quiet Republic. I'm in here with 3 people from the Empire.
I'm docking your pay.
You don't pay me!
We haven't paid it yet.
This is why you give shoddy performance.
He pays me.
I don't pay you crap. You embezzled money.
Do you want me to start over with the Captain's Log? Because you just cut me
keep
off.
reading.
Fred's a jerk. Also, Agent Olan's intelligence report. Lou will present Zerka Arms, specifically Zerka Corporation of Weapons, plus the weekly winner of Agent Olan's Star Wars Trivia Question of the Week, and your feedback in our community holo feed. Feedback that Fred's a turd.
Someone finally won that damn thing, huh, Lou?
Yes, I'm glad. Finally.
We literally can't even give stuff away.
In which case, I will probably make it a little bit easier. Not that much easier, just a tad bit. So it's not, I guess, if people want to send back more feedback in terms of how hard it is, or if I'm going way too deep into these things, let us know, and I'll adjust it from there. But before we go on, we do have something quick to mention. Tomorrow it's going to be Tuesday, so what does that mean? It's going to be patch day for Tor. So, from Tate Watson from the forums, tomorrow on September 9th, all the game servers and SwordTor.com will be available as we perform scheduled maintenance. Game Update 2.10. That's right, I say 2.10. Will be implemented during this downtime. And here are the details. Obviously, tomorrow, Tuesday, September 9th, 2014. Duration, all right, they're estimating 5 hours. Knock on wood. All right, it'll be from 2 a.m. Pacific to 7 a.m. Pacific, or 9 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time to 2 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. The patch notes will be available on Monday prior to maintenance. They're actually out now. If you go to the main SwordTor website and on Twitter, you'll see the patch notes there. As always, during maintenance, all the updates and additional information will be posted on our Twitter account. Thank you for your patience as we maintain service for Star Wars The Old Republic.
You know, I have to say, Lou, you've played a lot of MMOs, just as I have. I've never seen another MMO that actually had a .10. Any other MMO would just do like 2.9.2.
Or start using letters.
Yeah. There has got to be a better way to do 2.10 because that's not even mathematically correct. That's just 2.1 again.
Pretty much.
Just
I dropped the 0 like I was told to as a child.
Just go into hexadecimal. Go into hexadecimal. 2.a. That's an actual thing.
I don't like it. What's happening?
Yeah. Pointless zeros being added to patch notes. I hope that we never see this happen again. And I honestly believe that the original plan was to have the expansion hit after 2.9, but things got delayed, as we remember from Galactic Strongholds.
Mm-hmm.
So we're saying, Paige?
What?
Okay,
What?
so moving on to the captain's log. We had 2 weeks in game to play this time. And as always, what did you do in game for the last couple of weeks, Mr. Bounty Hunter?
I hunt bounty.
What did you do and succeed at over the last couple of weeks, Mr. Bounty Hunter?
Dang. You know about that? I messed up bad. Anyway, it has been a while. And I failed to hunt and murder a lot of people. I'll just leave it at that. And I've been losing money. Probably across all my 5 characters now. I have around 350,000 credits because I have been sending my alts around 50,000 credits each to boost up their crafting crew skills.
Oh, yeah. Yep, it's filling out that legacy. Your kids will bleed you dry.
Mm-hmm. Those pieces of garbage. Anyway.
Spoken like you have experience parenting already.
I don't, but...
Do any of us?
We
I don't
talking
know
about
you.
Treek's your little baby.
Treek one day is gonna get a blaster shoved in her face. One day.
One day, like that doesn't happen on a daily basis.
It happens hourly, but you know.
Oh man,
I mean,
she got your power pack in her mouth again.
Ewoks
I mean-
spittle everywhere.
I mean, it's better than when ID Tenti dismantled my power pack.
You have a point. Remember that, Lou, when he put that power pack inside of himself and started making that noise like that bomb disposal thing on Drummond Koss?
Oh, yeah. It's that acrid smoke. It was pain. Get that smell.
I was generally scared for my life.
That's a lot coming from a bounty hunter.
Mm-hmm. ID Tenti is not safe to be around, I assure you. Anyway, I now have 5 characters, up from, I believe, it was 3 2 weeks ago. My Marauder is still level 25, as he was 2 weeks ago, although all of his gathering crew skills, which are all 3 of them, are above 200. They're like 230, 210, 210, I believe. Which is pretty great, because then I could just boost the crafting skills on the other ones. So, yeah, there's my main. There's the leveling group character, which we all hit level 18, I believe, which is a lot of fun. That character has biochem, and that's, for me, that's at 140. So I can make stims that are up to level 24. So we're set, guys. If I keep my biochem ahead of our leveling group, then we're set.
Give me all the stems.
Blue stims, not even green stims.
Ooh, nice, even better.
See, I'm working up biochem on that tank as well, but not for the same reasons you are. I'm not actually breaking down any of the adrenals or anything to learn the blue versions of them. I'm simply raising it so that I can get the skill to 400, and then I can use the reusable purple health pack.
Yeah. I've been using the level 16 one. It's great.
Yeah, it's amazing. And the way it used to be, I'm not sure if it's still this way, is you can trade that pack, but it requires a skill level of a certain amount to actually use it. So I'll just wait until you get the purple and then mooch off of you and have you give it to me.
Yeah, no problem. In fact, what I'm planning is to have all of the crew skills that make item modifications, to have them all slightly above, or making modifications slightly above our leveling group level, so that basically every week I can come in and just give everyone new purple modifications.
It's a hefty goal.
Yeah.
Not every week. Maybe once we hit level 25. And then maybe every 5 or 10 levels.
Yeah, I'd say aim for about every 10 levels. That might be more reasonable, because we seem to get 1 or 2 levels per week, so about every month or so you'd be re-gearing us.
Yeah. And I should probably mention that... Oh, I guess I don't. Not yet, because I haven't introduced that character. Yes! I didn't mess up, but I did because I started this charade. Anyway.
It's like listening to George Lucas.
Huh? What?
That hurts more than you can imagine. Anyway. My first alt, which was my shadow, is level 17, and her artificing is 190.
Wow.
So I can make level 27 gear. So I'm going to outfit my level 25 Marauder with awesome stuff and then do dungeon or flashpoint runs as a DPS that pumps out max damage. It's going to be great. So yeah, 190. Then I made a sniper, which is going light side. Actually, that was my first light side character.
It's so boring, isn't it?
No. I have to say that of all of I've been enjoying all of the Glass stories so far.
The Agent is, in my opinion, the best story in the game. But I will tell you, playing Sniper or Gunslinger, at least for me, is very annoying because it is the one class that requires you to always be in cover. You can't do much of crap unless you're in cover.
True.
Whereas if you're an operative or a scoundrel, you can make it work. Like, I leveled my operative all the way to 55, and I never got in cover. I just stand there and shoot things like a noob.
It's because you're a healer. You shouldn't be getting hit anyway.
Well, with who I run around with, I get hit all the time.
What? He's talking about me. What? You're driving the bus this week, man.
Yeah, my level 11 sniper, I got up to 11, got onto the fleet, and immediately took Cybertech. And that's at level 80, so I can make level 17 stuff. Which is cool, because pairing up Artificing and Cybertech means that I can gear out... Or no, I can't really make custom gear, but I can just fill the mod slots for all of custom gear for any Jedi character. Or for any Force-using character, that's what I meant. And that's what I'm planning to do. And then, yeah, I made a Scoundrel, also going light side. For the Scoundrel, it dropped both the cover mechanic and then stealth on top of it. I found that kind of strange.
What tree did you choose for your scoundrel?
I don't know. I mean, I'm level 11, so it doesn't even matter.
He only has 2 skill points.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think of the cover mechanic in this game?
I like it because I haven't really been... Most fights, there is a place where I could just roll to and just sit there, and I think it's fine.
True.
I have something to add to that. Since I do play the operative in our group, sometimes when I roll into cover, it's backwards, or it rolls me into a position where the enemies are out of my line of sight. And then there are situations where I just drop down where I am and start shooting. And, from an immersion point of view, that just doesn't make sense. It's like, that's not really cover. That's just, oh my God, they're shooting at me. And there's nowhere to go.
That is my problem with it. My sniper is level 25 right now, running around on Nar Shaddaa. And every time he gets into a fight, he decides it's time to play American Revolution and just get down on one knee and start shooting at the enemy until they shoot back.
Like a gentleman.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Ironic for the dark side sniper.
You can tell which enemies have the cover effect or not based on the little green thing that hovers over their heads when you're in cover. If you guys have noticed that. I assume you have, but maybe not. So sometimes if it doesn't offer you a cover spot, I usually just pick... If there's a sloped rock, I would just get onto the center of that rock so that I'm partially covered by it, and it actually would count as cover. So I've been exploiting the terrain a little bit. But it works. And I'm not entirely sure how much the cover mechanic has been helping me, other than letting me use half my skills.
Well, I can say that it is helpful in situations like Fred and I duoed, what was it? Which flashpoint did we duo that time on my Scoundrel? And I kind of tanked it because I stayed in cover the whole time and just slowly beat that boss down because
that was the last boss on Hammer Station.
He wouldn't come around this barrel and beat me down. He just stood where he was and shot at nothing.
Yeah, the last boss on Hammer Station, he does not move from his spot. The only thing we had to deal with was 2 ads would randomly fly into the scene and come running at you.
And at the time, I forget who you were on, but you just knocked them over the edge.
At the time, I was on my Trooper playing with you, and I would use my knockback ability every time they would land.
I thought you were on that Jedi I don't remember.
No, that was still on my Trooper at the time.
Oh, okay.
That was way back at like level 16.
So long ago.
We keep interrupting ZZ. I'm so sorry.
Come on.
No, ZZ's already been talking for like half an hour now.
I know. I just have so much to say.
That's what happens when we wait for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're all chomping at the bit to speak.
Yep. Yeah, my Scoundrel has...
Are we getting pulled
tech.
over?
Preferably not.
Ignore that.
It sounds like we're getting pulled over.
Give it some gas!
Everybody hold on to something.
Dump the cargo quick.
There's a lot of stuff going on out there. It's strange how we could hear all that noise through space. I mean, wow.
Hey, we can hear a TIE fighter, X-Wings, lasers in the movies. We can hear anything in space. Just saying.
Okay. We'll agree. Yeah. My Scoundrel has arms tech and actually bumped that up to 30. I'm going to be making barrels. At this very moment, I could gear out a level 13 character in full custom gear with purple mods if I wanted to. Given a few days to research all of the mods.
Ah, very nice.
But I'm not going to do that. I'm probably aiming for 25 or 30 for my get all of the purple modifications.
Yeah, usually most people don't even bother with purples until they're 50 or higher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're learning them as you go and you have the mats, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Might as well use it.
That's what I'm thinking. And then I'm trying to figure out the augmentation slot system, because it doesn't quite make sense to me what you can make to put in there.
Anything and everything.
Yeah, augments. You could get them with a whole different variety of stats. Like on my Sage healer, I typically get ones that have endurance and surge rating on there.
The trainer, I looked through the trainer, and all of the augment or all of the actual augments that you can make start at level 51. So, do I have to hunt for those schematics?
Yes, the schematics come through doing whatever your researching skill is.
Okay.
Like investigation, underworld trading.
Yeah, okay.
All that kind of stuff. Like, you'll get the schematics.
Okay.
And they're pretty rare.
Mm-hmm. Good to know.
Next week, Zizi's going to be like, guys, I'm down to 50,000 credits. I bought a bunch of schematics for augmentations from levels 1 to 15 on the GTM.
Now, I'm completely broke, but all of my crew skills are 400. Anyway.
Spend money to make money.
Yep.
That's how my warrior's going to be. I'm going to have 400 in biochem, and I'm only going to know how to make med kits.
I mean, that works. Yeah. And I guess future plans for this upcoming week, and maybe the next week after, I'll be making 2 more characters, leveling them to 11, and getting the final 2 crafting crew skills, armor mech, and synth weaving, so that I'll actually have access to all of the augments to make.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Then I hunt the bounty.
Well, Paige, what have you been up to over the last couple of weeks?
Well, Sith Lord Corv and I worked on our mains a little bit. They're max level, but we had skipped a planet, I believe, so we went back to mess around there. Actually made a considerable amount of money when we devastated Corellia from beginning to end. I play an assassin as my main. He plays an operative, and my main hangs out with Kimball because he's a jerk just like me, and we're best friends. When we weren't busy playing together, I was working on my crew skills because I've only ever maxed out slicing. That's a confession. And that's only on my main character. I always make Fred supply me with things, my armor, my mods, and everything. It's just like real life. I'm pretty and he does all the work. And so I was working on my trade skills because I wanted to max out my companion's affection, because the only character I've ever maxed out with, or well, the only companion I've ever maxed out, rather, has been Quinn, and that's because I'm Hold on, let me finish. I maxed Quinn out with my Marauder, of course. She married him, and now I'm ashamed of her. When I was playing that story and they kissed for the first time, like, there was some like disgusting build-up with them because he just like wanted to fight my advances. But then when they finally kissed, like, I cringed in real life because he's so gross. Anyway, I haven't maxed out anyone else. That's due to the fact that I don't care who likes me, but I do understand that there are benefits to making my minions worship me. So I've been working on making them love me. Closest one I have to max on my main, the assassin, is Kimball. He just hates everything I try to give him, though. I'm like, here's some Republic memorabilia, why don't you like it? And he doesn't appreciate it. I did do a little PvP. Not too much, because the character that I enjoy PvPing on is actually a character that Sith Lord Corv and I, he plays someone with my character, I forget who. Oh, he plays a bounty hunter, I play an operative. I love healing on that operative, but that one's on Jedi Covenant. I'm not talking about my leveling character. Fred and I also worked on my bounty hunter and his inquisitor. I actually play that character light side. It's awkward because I feel like Captain America, except I hunt bounties like ZZ, but not as cool. Because he actually kills the people, and I'm like, oh, you can go. I try my best to tank on my bounty hunter, but we don't know if I'm actually any good since we only play together so far. I feel like if we go into a flashpoint and I tank, that maybe we can get a feel for if I actually have any skill as a tank. My favorite thing about her, though, is having HK as her companion, because he's so much fun. I love hearing like the trash talk when we pull mobs, and he says something to the effect of, "What is it? You're already dead, just lie down." I love that so much.
God, I was glad when they brought him into the game.
I love him.
He is awesome from KOTOR and KOTOR 2. I'm sorry.
Every time I get on my ship, like, I walk by him, I'm like, click, just because I want to hear him, like, run his mouth.
No, he's upgraded. That was HK-47.
Now it's HK-51.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Although one of these days I do have to buckle down and actually get him.
You don't have him yet?
Oh
Nope.
my god, he's so much fun. He really is. I enjoy him so much.
We
And
may have to help you with that on Jedi.
Yeah, we should. That could be fun.
Probably work on him on my operative. But that's for later.
Well, you have to work on it on 2 characters because you need a part from the Republic side too.
Well, I got my Sentinel. So, and my
Well,
Trooper.
We'll have our people call your people. We'll set that up.
Awesome.
All right, and
cost you much.
you'll have to borrow money from ZZ. Okay, he doesn't have any.
I have no money.
Sorry.
Do not borrow.
My final thing, as ZZ said, we've been working on our leveling group together. I find that we complement each other very well because even when we're doing stupid things, like everyone decides to jump off a cliff, we all live, and Agent Louis Olan is like, I'm going to walk down the cliff like a gentleman. He's not a heathen like we are. And then he dies anyway.
Yeah, I died anyway.
We all jump off the cliff and live. He tries to walk down, and he just gets obliterated by all these mobs that are down there.
Walks
That's what
down
you
the
get.
cliff like a gentleman when he's playing a lady. Of course he died.
I think they thought, never mind. Anyway, I found that very amusing. We always have fun together, and I can't wait to play with you guys tomorrow. Aww. Okay, I'm done.
All I have to say to that after all that Quinn talk.
It was an experiment because
No, that excuse never works.
Isn't that always the excuse girls use? Oh, I was experimenting. No, really, because I hadn't romanced any companion yet, and he was the first one I could kind of stand to look at. Like Corso, I just can't get over the way he speaks. I'm just like, stop. I'm from the South. Stop. Because it's just embarrassing for everyone. He seemed like a nice guy. I haven't finished the Warrior story yet, but I know people talk about him.
You should consider raising Lieutenant Pierce and kicking Quinn to the curb.
You know, I've actually thought about that. That's another experiment I want to try. I'm technically married to Quinn, but what happens if I start romancing Lieutenant Pierce? My warrior's kind of skanky.
You get the option to divorce Quinn.
I'm totally going to do that then. See, I'm getting all these companion gifts from working on my cruise skills, and now I'm going to give Lieutenant Pierce some whatever he likes. Here's a courting gift, a plate full of weird-looking peas and berries.
Hey, Lieutenant Pierce is awesome. He's the one that I actually play with on Corv.
He is pretty cool, because I've talked to him a couple times.
Fair warning, though, he does not like taking orders, so if you try to order him around, you will lose affection with him.
That's why I give him gifts. I mean, so many of my Assassin's characters don't like her. Like, what's her name, Ashara? Totally hates my assassin, but I'm like, here's a present to make up for all those people I killed.
Speaking of people dying, Lou, what did you do in the last couple of weeks?
Last couple of weeks, well, oh god, Quest OCD kicked in. So, while I was about to start the entire storyline for Rise of the Hutt Cartel, I saw, I had not completed Corellia on my trooper, so I was like, damn it. So I went back and actually finished the entire storyline. All the side quests, skipped the heroics, but I did every single quest but the heroics on Corellia. So completed all of that, because partially also realized that I was about to start the Rise of the Cartel quest, but I was pretty much still in gear from my late 40s and from level 50 gear. So I was like, ooh, you know what? Maybe I should go back and make some money and buy some upgrades and perhaps start working on the original dailies that came out when the game first released. To put work and time to that to earn the commendations and the money from there. So I went back and started picked up the quest lines for Elam. Okay, the very first daily section for Bel Savs, not Section X, the outer area, the first area that opened up, and of course the black hole on Corellia.
Oh, yes, Lou. I wanted to tell you as well while we're on this topic. Remember a few episodes ago, well, 1 or 2, I asked you if they had nerfed the money at some point for the original Bel Savas dailies?
Mm-hmm.
I did a little bit of research. They actually did at the point when they changed the heroics from heroic 4s to heroic 2s. they lowered the amount of money that the dailies paid for the original Belsavis.
Yeah,
It used to be in line with Ilum.
Yeah, because Ilum is only kept its still to this day it pays out 10K, for its dailies. As opposed to everywhere else you go, like the Black Hole, right? The original first section of Belsavis, and now Section X, and so on. All they pay is 8K, 8,000. I'm not including the heroics, obviously, but the regular ones, they only pay 8,000 credits, which to me is kind of cheap. Considering it's repetitive, it's like, come on, at least throw us a bone here with that. But it's something. So I started with that, and later on this week I intend, to open them up, finish the storyline on each area, so I can actually open up as dailies and then go work on CZ-198, and then picking up the storyline for Oricon for my trooper, and then start the build up from there, because that character is also, I wouldn't say dead broke, but under 100K, yeah, it's kind of broke for the tour community, I would say.
Yeah, well, I remember last episode I told Zuzi under 500K was poverty levels.
Yeah, so I'm definitely feeling that. That's why I definitely, even all my characters, I definitely have to go back to doing dailies every now and then, just to keep up the cash flow. Because, especially on Jedi Covenant, I wouldn't say the economy is expensive, but it's noticeable. It's trying to keep pace with the current cost of a lot of stuff that I want to get from my characters. Doing the dailies definitely would help me in the long run, and saving up the gear I want to get.
If you compare the two GTNs, you'll notice things on Shadowlands are a lot cheaper than they are on Jedi Covenant.
I know, and that makes me wonder, maybe I should just swap my characters over to Shadowlands instead. For a while and bring them back.
Well, one thing, when we get these leveling characters up to 55, we'll be free to do dailies on our own over there to make more money.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm looking forward to. And speaking of dailies, again, doing them, a rash of them on my girl operative, because she is now down to under 200,000 credits. I spent a crap ton of credits on upgrades for Scorpio, and I started to work on Ensign Temple as well. And what I have planned for the future is seeing what I can get right now, and start plotting out actual mods and stuff ahead of time for Dr. Loken. Because right now I'm in the middle of trying out different companions for my operative. She's my favorite and she's my main. I mean, I've always ever since I got Scorpio, I always went with her.
Oh my gosh, dude. Dr. Loken is like the most OP vanilla companion in the game. You put him in Rackle mode, he tears through everybody.
Yeah, but I kind of like Scorpio because she reminds me of some crazed. Well, before we got HK-51, I mean, she was it pretty much. Other than 4X, for the Republic, and then Scorpio for the Empire.
Now we got to get you HK so she can have a mate.
God, that's gonna be disturbing.
Oh, that's awkward. Ew.
Yeah, it is awkward. Droid love. It's gonna be awkward.
Oh, it's probably out there somewhere.
I am sorry, I only have a 2-prong outlet.
God,
so I go there.
Isn't this PG?
And as a side note,
yes,
speaking of
PG,
Scorpio,
perfectly grotesque.
Yes, perfectly gone. I saw this mentioned on the Cartel Market suggestion board a couple of days ago, and I was wondering, along with a few other players as well, why no customization for Scorpio? At this point in the game's life, come on, BioWare. I for one, enough's enough. Just do it already. I mean, heck, HK-51 gets some sort of customization. You could change his color, a couple of colors.
You can do a couple things with HK.
Right.
It was even the one you won from the casino, the customization.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there's one from the Bounty Hunter event too.
Right, and I'm not sure about 4X since I haven't used him in my trooper, so I don't know if there's any customizations for him.
Ooh, 4X only has 2 customizations.
Right.
They don't change them much.
But still, he has 2 options, though. As opposed to Scorpio, she has 0.
I think she looks kind of fierce as she is, but that's just me.
Well, I mean, I like a color now, but every now and then, I do like to change up the appearance of my companions.
Yeah, you want to be different.
Exactly, like on my other characters, especially my main. My operative has gone through 4 different looks. So I'd like to match, my companions to that look. Like my Sentinel and Kira, pretty much complement each other. Same thing with my trooper and with Dorn. And what I'm trying to do is at least get Scorpio to have some sort of difference so that when I go to the fleet and I see a bunch of other operatives or snipers running on Scorpio, it's like, hey, we all don't have the same fembot.
Wait, do you actually see other people run around with Scorpio?
A few, not a lot, but a few. I see most people run around probably with the HK 51 or with Dr. Loken.
So how does it feel to know that C2N2 has more customizations than Scorpio?
Very, very depressing.
I actually have a customization for C2N2 that I use on my Dark Side Republic characters that turns him into a Crimson robot.
See? He gets one.
No, he actually has, like, 3. He has the Crimson one, he has a Butler outfit, and he has a Target outfit.
Yeah, again, and it all boils down to what a Scorpio got. Nothing.
All they really have to do is recolor her.
Yeah, at least give her, just like when you see the colors in, the dye section of the GTN, at least give her several options.
Don't worry, Lou. I'm sure it'll come in a cartel pack at some point.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. It's like, you know what? Oh, I'm going to have to roll the dice to see, all right, does it come in there? Okay, great. It's out there. And I got to pay too many credits for it.
No. That's the good thing is when they come out with companion customizations, within a month of them coming out, you can buy them dirt cheap on the GTN. Like, you can get Treek, Chemval, not Vet, but you can get C2N2 and 2VR8 customizations on the GTN, and they're really cheap, like under 10K.
Nice.
And once you have them, you can use cartel coins to unlock them on your account, so you can just duplicate them on any character you want.
I made it to go that route, even though I'd never dream of using 2VR8 or CTN2, but at least the option's there.
I never use them either, but I make him red just so when I walk on the ship, I'm like, okay, this is an evil character. So he's spray painted that robot.
An evil Anthony Daniels. That's awesome. And just to wrap up my operative, right now I got her a couple more upgrades, and she's just a hair shy of 30,000 health. And at this point, right now, I'm just looking at rebalancing her other stats, especially I'm trying to play that fine game between balancing her alacrity, surge, and power, so I can make it optimal. So at least, I'm looking. Like I said, I'm looking for a guild on JC for my operative, so I can start doing at least story modes for the operations. So I can get my feet wet, start doing those on that character. Anyway, I won't be a liability much at first.
Did you ever find a group that you want to roll with for operations?
Not yet. Still looking. I mean, I'm looking at a couple of guilds on the forums, going to their sites, just seeing what they do, putting out feelers out there and see what happens.
Doing posts, looking for an operation group with 2 slots. I want to bring Scorpio.
Yeah. You're like, no, bring HK. He's cooler. Oh, I will say though, again, I always commend cool looking blaster rifles on the GTN. Not very many out there for some strange reason. I don't know. I guess it's kind of like what the Commando gets. Not very much in terms of options of looks for his assault cannon, for the assault cannon they get to use. Everything I've been noticing, especially on the GTN, has been like an oversized like a PVC tube, or baseball bat type looking blaster rifle, Or like the business end of the blaster rifle has been like really huge. It's wider and it's fatter on the other end as opposed to the end on your shoulders. Like, wow, this is really insane. To me, they kind of look like clown guns. I'm like, geez, what is this?
It's gonna shoot a net.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, exactly. And some of them have like 2 or 3 barrels on. It's like, why? This looks useless. This looks ugly.
You press the trigger and out comes a giant boxing glove.
Yeah, exactly.
Or that little flag that says
This is
POW.
bang.
Or zap or pow.
Yeah.
That's what I'm expecting when I see these rifles. Like, come on, seriously? I mean, I have a couple of good rifles that I would love to actually probably buy on my trooper and probably send to my operative and do that. Just dump it in the legacy or mail it to my operative directly. Here's some cool looking rifles for you to have, courtesy of the Republic. And of that, again with the operative, I'm changing her look. So right now, for those who are familiar with it, I think this is the look you can start getting an Oricon, the TD-21A outfit for the Imperial Agent, which is a different look. I'm going away again from the traditional Imperial style, which I always had her in, which is the officer type look, or more of a military looking uniform, like I've had in the past.
Well, you did end the class story going light side, right?
Yeah, so
So it makes sense.
So for spoilers, those who didn't realize,
No, don't spoil it. We got Zizi here, man.
That's right. Okay.
Oh my god.
Oops. Ooh, good thing you averted disaster that way.
You
And
now
I'll use the-
owe me, Zizi. Your life was saved by a Sith.
Because my life was in danger if I would have gotten that information right there.
That's right.
Your agent's
Spoilers.
life was. Would have been ruined.
So with that being said, on my Sentinel, she is seriously in need of money. So I have to get cracking on her with dailies as well. I'm getting to the point, Fred, where I almost can't afford to pay to travel on my ship. That's how bad it's getting.
You know, I recall being there at one point
That's right.
in the middle of a show when I had to beg on the fleet for enough money to fly to Corellia.
And I realized, that's my own fault because I'd always done dailies on my Sentinel in the past for the Republic side. And in leveling my Trooper, I put my Sentinel to the side, and I had fed almost all of her money that she accrued over the past year and a half, almost 2 years, and fed it to the Trooper.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I was like, ooh, all right, I need to stop. The Trooper's, the Trooper can start running dailies on her own now. That's cool. So now I can go back and actually make money for my Sentinel.
Tell me that's at least her daughter to justify why she's taking all of her money.
Actually, no, they're not even. They're associates, according to my my legacy. They're friends.
There must be a secret relationship there.
Oh my god! Because I bring this up because I noticed the past few days I've been seeing a lot of decent upgrades and just some orange gear, adaptive gear. That's on the GTN for sale now, and it's not terribly expensive. But I realize, with all of them combined, I really would need to get cracking on the dailies and start working on building up her cash reserve again, so I can start buying at least the cool looking gear I'm starting to see now in GTN, and again keep upgrading her and Kira as possible. I always like to keep Kira in line with my Sentinel the most. My Trooper, I know I was slacked a little with Dorn, although I have been trying to pick up on that. But on my Sentinel, I've always kept Kira on par with her, with the Knight. Just so 2 DPS kicking ass, can't go wrong. Speaking of bounty hunters, went back and started working on Power Tech again. So right now I've got her on Nar Shaddaa, which is, a great place because some of the quest dialogue from the bounty hunter, to me, it's some of the funniest, just because of what they say. That perfect moment when you actually read the dialogue wheel, like, all right, this is what I'm going to say, and it means totally not what you said, or it just comes out a lot better than what they wrote it to be.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say I really liked how I forgot her name, the voice actress for the female bounty hunter is perfect. Some of the stuff she says is just so deadpan on. It's like, wow, okay, you're scary. Get away from me.
I feel like I might need to make a female bounty hunter just to experience that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... is it Carrie Wilmer? I forgot. But yeah, it's just some of the lines, the way she says it, it's just perfect. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what I expect the female bounty hunter to say. No, I'm scared of you now.
Funny thing, if you play a female bounty hunter, you can actually end up becoming nobility in Star Wars.
Now that we've ruined that for ZZ.
I didn't tell him how. Hey, you tried to give him the end of a class story.
Yeah, but I
wanna
didn't
hear
stop
it.
me though. I actually didn't do it. But to finish everything off though, again with the upgrades, I'm actually now working on my Marauder and my Sorcerer. And that's going to be a longer work in progress, since I'm prioritizing all my characters. Is always my Operative first, and then right now it's my Trooper, and then my Sentinel, and then I'm going to start working on my my Mara and my Sork next, and try to fit them in there as I can. With my Sorcerer, my focus is to make Kempal even more of a BA than he is right now. Because right now, my Sorcerer, I've got him up to at least, I think, 25 or 26k in health. but I know I can do better on him. Making even more of a fearsome, Deshad than he is. And Paige, I'll show you a way to actually build affection with him.
I got this. I got this.
Lou figured out how to romance Kimball.
No, gross
that's
thought.
weird.
Gross, but no.
Every time the cabin's rocking, there's 200 affection going up.
Oh.
No.
We're done with that.
Yeah.
Moving
So
on.
my Marauder. Right now, I'm doing the old-fashioned. In my notebook, I'm actually pre-planning upgrades and mods for Ashara. I plan to take her out because, like Paige, I'm sick of using Quinn. Even though I will admit he has helped, he does help a lot, and I've already maxed out affection on him, so I may as well start working on my other characters. So for now, I'm probably gonna start working on Ashara. Even though I did say Pierce, but right now, you know what? Let me roll with her.
Well, hold up.
Wait, yeah, what?
Wait a minute. How the hell did you get an Inquisitor companion on your Marauder?
Oh, sorry. Jason. Sorry.
I was thinking
Sorry.
really hard. I'm like, that's not right.
You dirty hacker.
Play so many characters in these games.
Wait a minute.
So, Chaser, sorry. Listen, you try to keep track of 20 characters.
My
plus.
brain hurts.
But I gotta start working on her because I've always used Quinn. So right now, Vet, then Quinn. And then I feel bad because the moment I got Quinn on my Marauder, so all those months ago, I never touched any of my other companions in the storyline once I got them.
I don't try to touch any of them.
Well, metaphorically touch them in that way. So
I touch Quinn with the back of my hand every chance it refreshes since I'm a Sith pureblood.
oh, that's right.
Yes.
That should be a Sith emote regardless.
I
If you're
know.
fearful or not. That should be for the warrior and for the Inquisitor.
I bound it to the button that moves me forward.
That would be awesome. The Sith pimp slap. Get back in line. Because, that would be great if I were to make it happen. So, yes. Pen and paper plotting out upgrades for Jason. And, yeah, I'll probably try rolling out Pierce. But for now, I'll probably work on Jason.
Well,
And be one of those few people not put her in the slave girl outfit.
You know what? She's cool. She might hang out with my Marauder instead of having a Pierce out. I don't need a romance option to be with me. I can have just my crazy girl with me. I made her go dark side.
Can't be a DPS and run around with a DPS companion.
Why can't I?
That's poor balancing.
So? I do what I want.
When you play with my Marauder, we're already 2 Marauders. We'll set up to fail.
We kill so hard, though.
that's the first time I ever outfitted Brunmark to actually tank. And you would be surprised how well Brunmark tanks.
Again, once I got him, I never went back to him again.
Oh,
Yeah,
because
I
it's
can't-
dark side, he wouldn't really mesh with you, Lou.
Yeah.
I can't stand to listen to him make noises. He's like, I'm
What are you
like,
talking about? He's like an overgrown mosquito with fur. It's like the
I know.
coolest creature in existence.
With no wings, though.
So now, since we've already consumed an hour of the show, I'm going to go ahead and quickly run down what I've done over the last couple of weeks. In the leveling group, my Twi'lek Juggernaut is now level 18 and has a full set of moddable gear. I was browsing the GTN and making sure he was prepared to be upgraded. I wanted to have oranges in every slot possible, so it makes things easier. And he's doing very well at staying at Dark 1, and I'm trying to keep him there by balancing my dark side, light side decisions because I like having orange eyes on him and I don't want to get face cancer. I also got sick of using the default lightsaber since every Force user except the Inquisitor starts with that one. And for whatever reason lately, I've been on this kick where I've been keeping the default weapons all the way up to 55. So I went ahead and I scrapped it on this guy and grabbed another lightsaber off the Droman Cost vendor. It was originally an Inquisitor lightsaber, but for some reason it could be used in offhand as well. And I started doing dailies on my Jedi Guardian on Shadowlands so that I would have some money. And I got from 50 to 53 just doing dailies. And the only dailies I've been doing are the Black Hole on Corellia, and occasionally Buckeye has been running me through Ilum and CZ198.
Okay, I was gonna say that was my next question. I was gonna ask you which ones are you running because you definitely should probably attempt or open up Oricon at least. Work on that stuff there.
Well, I will eventually get to that. And for whatever reason, I was super excited that I actually managed to get myself a magenta lightsaber crystal. And when you plug it into your lightsaber, it's actually called light red.
Is it? I noticed.
Yes. And huge thanks to Buckeye for making me some green armorings and mods for Treek. She yubs them.
Oh, I can't believe you actually wrote that in the notes. You actually wrote she yubs. Oh, come on. Wow.
It helps her stay alive longer. Say thank you, Treek.
Goopa noopa.
Good girl. And I made my Mira Luca Sith Inquisitor because my Jedi got to level 50.
Yay!
And I'd been working toward that for a while, so I played the crap out of him when I first made him, and he's level 21, and now he has the Balmora Blues.
Oh, boo. Ugh.
He is going dark side, like his
That's
father, and this is my first opportunity ever on an Inquisitor to work up my affection with Kemball.
Are you gonna romance him too?
No, but I may spare his life if he steps into line.
You know, as much as he likes me, he still runs his mouth to me.
That's because you haven't allowed him to romance you.
Ugh. Ugh.
And I'm getting my first taste of the Deception Tree. The first assassin that I leveled was actually a tank and leveled up tank spec, and it's interesting to actually be playing as a DPS now. And then I made a couple new characters. I made a trooper, and I re-rolled my Zabrak Juggernaut and made him into a bounty hunter now. Since I already have my Twi'lek Juggernaut, it was kind of an overlap that I didn't want to have over on Shadowlands.
Mm-hmm.
So now I need to go through the process of getting that bounty hunter caught up to where Page's Sorcerer is. And I'm having some trouble deciding whether I want to go mercenary or power tech on him. Either way, I'm either going to be a tank or healer, but not a DPS on him, because the trooper that I made is going dark side, and I picked Vanguard on him because I really like the starter gun that they give you, and I want to be a DPS on him. And it's going to be interesting to really mouth off to General Garza.
Oh, I can't. Oh, God.
Like when she goes, "Come back to the Senate Tower," I hope that telling her F you is an option.
It's probably not.
Like, General, you just spilled half the mission's requirements on the HoloNet. Why not just finish it? Instead of making me travel halfway across the galaxy back to your office.
Yes, exactly. And I've been kicking around the idea of actually moving a character from Jedi Covenant to Shadowlands. I would make a new character to do this. And just doing that to bring my legacy over. And I'm torn on whether or not I actually want to do that, because I'm enjoying actually getting the achievements and stuff all over again on the new server. And it feels like something to work toward, leveling up the new legacy. But at the same time, it's frustrating that my legacy level is only 9 and I can't buy most of the things that I want.
Yet, or the fact that you miss having all 4 class buffs at once.
And I also played Jedi Knight Jedi Academy over the last week,
Nice!
where I started playing the story of Jaden Core.
Yes! That is a great game. I love that game.
You can play as a Rhodian that speaks Basic.
Which is kind of weird, isn't it?
That tells me that Rhodians need to become a playable race in SWTOR.
Suggestion
Make it
box.
so.
Yeah. Make it so, BioWare.
You know, my latest post in the suggestion box on the forums is to make all mounts adaptable instead of having set speed mounts, so that we can use all of them at any level. And that thread has actually gotten quite a bit of feedback on the forums.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I know on all my characters I have at least one speeder that I really like the look of, but I never use again because it's stuck at 90 or at 100%.
Exactly. People in the thread pointed out there's a couple speeders that shouldn't be changed. Like, apparently there's one that goes at the rank 2 speed, but you have 0% chance to be knocked off of it because it's actually a tank. And things like that, I would leave alone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the majority of speeders should all be adaptable.
Even the droid sidecar one, or the hut barge, those little barges, pleasure barges. You see players writing in?
Yes. And a couple little side notes here. First, our last episode, we had actually said in the chat that we were going to wish Buckeye a happy birthday, and we never got around to actually doing that in the show. So, happy belated birthday, Buckeye. Sorry it took us a couple weeks to mention it. We got distracted in the last episode. Didn't come back to it. And additionally, if you really thought that segment that we just did where we talked about our gameplay over the last couple of weeks was ridiculously long and you didn't want to hear it, you should check out our YouTube version of the show where there are friendly buttons where you can skip to whatever section of the show you actually want to hear. Just putting that out there. And so our next topic, Game Update 2.10, Forged Alliances is coming to the game. Highlights include a new flashpoint, the Legacy of the Ricotta, where you're actually going to go to Ricotta Prime, a new level 55 tactical flashpoint. Bounty Contract Week returns.
Yes!
And Ranked Warzone Arena Season 3 is going to start. And Nightmare Power has been removed from the Dread Palace. And the Deposer of the Dreadmasters title can no longer be obtained. Congratulations to all who overcame this challenge. There have also been Codex fixes, Conquest, and Warzone Conquest objectives adjusted. And there have been some class changes across most of the classes, so look that up if you have a chance. We won't go into detail about that because pretty much every other podcast has done a great job covering that over the last week.
Mm-hmm.
So, ZZ, what else do we have here?
We have some things that Soto Minor has data mined. They could be true or could never happen. Still, we should probably give our thoughts. Well, we got a potential Conquest event schedule. I really don't know anything about this.
Well, basically, the way that the Conquest system has been working is they are holding weekly events determining which gameplay modes are going to give the most Conquest for participating in them. Mm-hmm. And SWTOR Miner has managed to data mine the event schedule so that people can see which week which event is going to be running and know how to maximize their Conquest in advance.
I see.
So I don't know how I feel about this information being so easily to dig out of the game so that people already know what's going to be important and which planets are going to be contested so far in advance.
I mean, when you actually go to SWTOR Miner's Reddit thread, you pretty much tell why he probably isn't allowed to post that stuff on the official forums. But, you know, as you see there, I mean, the actual start times and the order they're coming in, you know, he's already put that out there. So people can start plotting out, you know, all right, what's exactly what Fred said, how to maximize the performance. You know, some of them are going to involve heavy crafting, some won't. And for those that involve crafting, you know, players right now are probably saying, all right, what do I need now that's coming in 3 weeks? And start hoarding those materials.
I kind of wonder if they're going to start pulling this stuff out of the game client and leave it until patch day to put it in so that it can't be predicted ahead of time.
Well, I mean, they could. I mean, that's, again, it's their game and their files, so they can do whatever they want. But, you know, will they? I mean, how easy or how hard is it for them to do that? That's the bigger question now.
I don't know. I'm just surprised that they would put so much of that information in the game so far in advance so that it could be dug out of the client like that. Because Conquest has been very competitive since it was added to the game.
Patch. God, yes. I mean, considering the people we follow on Twitter, wow. Yes. It has gotten ugly, but you can tell like the rivalry is there, which is great. You know, no bad blood, just fierce competition, which is awesome.
And every week they've been finding tons of exploits, how to play the system and raise millions of Conquest points that other people can't figure out how to do until the week's over. And BioWare has definitely been working hard to iron out a lot of those exploits. Which is probably why there's so many different events, so that they have time to work on the exploits before that particular event comes around again.
You know, and let's hope and, you know, probably ask the community to hop on the PTS and help maybe find these bugs or exploits beforehand.
Yeah, that's definitely a big player in it, is people will need to test things on the test server when they're there. Of course, there are certain things like the new Rakata Prime Flashpoint that they're not putting on the test server because they want to surprise people.
Mm-hmm. Which is great.
If
Surprise!
that comes out bugged, that's not our fault.
Well, and me coming from an old style, old school MMO, it's like, you know what? If I don't see 400 PTS, that's fine. I'll deal with the bugs as they come, because then it just means I won't, see a detailed step-by-step guide on hour 1 when it's released on how to beat it. For me, that's part of the challenge, actually figuring out what the hell to do.
I'm so against this type of stuff. I don't like to know what's going to happen. I don't read any news sites. I don't want to know that stuff. When it comes out, I just want to experience it and be surprised by it, and for it to be an adventure, to learn, to have a good time with it, instead of being just know everything about it as soon as it's released. I'm like, oh yeah, I know exactly how to beat this. I mean, where's the challenge?
That's a good point. And I think this is going to give people that follow Reddit a real tactical advantage for their guilds, and people that aren't checking these third-party sites are going to be at a disadvantage.
Well, I wouldn't say disadvantage. It's just a level playing field. If you're going to go in there, go in there.
Well, that's the thing, though, Lou. Like, the guilds that actually check Reddit, and if the schedule the Switch Reminder posted is followed for the first few weeks, the ones that are checking Reddit are going to know, okay, well, in 2-3 weeks, okay, the event that's going to make trade skills really boosted for conquest points is going to be coming back. Let's start hoarding all of our mats. So they're going to have like a huge hoarding of mats, and then the guild that doesn't check Reddit, that week's going to roll around, and they're just going to have an average amount of mats, and they're just going to get blown out of the water because they didn't know it was coming to prepare for it. And that's when the debate comes up, like, should it really be these guilds' responsibility to check third-party sites to be competitive? Or should they be able to compete just by playing the game?
That's true. But again, that's a question for a whole show on its own.
Well, I think it's cool. Data mining, sometimes it shows us some really cool stuff before it ever happens. But sometimes I think that it does give people that follow the data miners a more tactical advantage over people that don't. But that's neither here nor there. And the other interesting thing is that SWTOR Miner believes that the Rackle event is going to be coming back around Halloween on Corellia this time.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of fun during that one last time it happened.
Oh my god.
It
It happens every time. You're like, hey, look, what's over there? Boom! And suddenly you got the plague.
Well, it's more like, hey, why am I puking? Oh, I just exploded.
Why am I puking? Oh, because Treek smells like pee.
Goopa noopa.
They paid me to do that.
I can't, no.
Did any of you guys happen to notice during the time that we weren't doing the show that the Harbinger server was actually showing a queue for several days?
Mm-hmm.
And if you follow Twitter at all, basically all the West Coast servers were taken offline for a while because they had to fix some things with the West Coast data center.
Yeah, they were having some issues. I think it would start off with really bad lag, and then it got to the point where BioWare had actually taken them down.
They were having rollbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided to take the server down. Now, I know at this point this is old news, but it was something that happened over the last couple weeks, and it was important enough that we should at least mention it, so just wanted to put that out there. And that brings us to the crappy Star Wars recommendation of the week.
Not crappy, actually useful. As I believe all of us live in a place where it snows. I believe that this recommendation is...
Zizi lives in Hawaii.
No, he doesn't. Anyway. Some of the other recommendations are just funny or cute or just, oh my god, that's so awesome. This, I believe, is actually useful and it's fun at the same time. It's a Wampa ice scraper. Coming from our friends again at ThinkGeek.com, the Wampa ice scraper is a whimsical way of using a severed limb. Just slide the plush Wampa mint over your own flesh and you could use the power of Wampa claws. What the hell was that, Fred?
That was ID-10T banging up against the wall.
Okay, well, I thought the engine was knocking again.
No. No such luck.
We better not go down. Okay. So we're sliding the plush Wampa mitt over our own flesh so you can use the power of Wampa claws to scrape the ice from your car's windshield. The Wampa ice scraper keeps your hand warm as you power through Jack Frost's early morning graffiti. In no time, you'll be snug in your warm vehicle, sipping hot cocoa from your travel mug on your way to the office on the Death Star.
I like the picture that says Cozy Wampa Guts Interior.
This is the second, what am I trying to say? The second show in a row that I have recommended something for a car. If anyone wants to buy me this, totally welcome to do it. Because I hate my ice scraper. I want to have a Wampa arm. I think it would be fun.
This also references barbecuing as well.
Yes,
Wampa is the fruit of the blizzard. You can barbecue it, boil it, broil it, bake it, saute it. That's enough
All
of that.
equally disgusting. Thank you.
Wampa burgers.
Well, Lou, this may not be the best time to tell you. You know how I cooked dinner tonight?
Oh, God.
That wasn't normal meat in the meatballs. Those are Wampa meatballs.
Can I eat Treek?
Shut up, bounty hunter.
Give me a wonder.
No, you
You're
don't
not
want to.
eating my cartel coin purchase.
You don't want to eat Treek. She's been marinated in urine.
It was his own urine.
It makes it weirder.
He carries it in his canteen.
Enough.
Girardi. Anyway.
So once again, Lou, save us this week.
All right, thank you very much. And for today's intelligence report, I'm going to be covering a quick look at Zerka Arms, or as we know them, also known as Zerka Corporation or Zerka Weapons, playing both sides in business. Or in their own words, anytime, anywhere, we're there. Zerka Arms motto. So, Zerka Arms, also known as Zerka Weapons, formerly known as the Zerka Corporation, and founded as Zerka Mining and Industrial, was a galaxy-spanning business during the reigns of the Galactic Republic, Sith Empire, Galactic Empire, New Republic, and Galactic Federation of Free Alliances. Yes, so many words. And a quick look at the history. And here's a quote from the holoboard on Coruscant itself. Zerka Corporation, centuries of service, a heritage to be proud of. Now accepting lifetime employment applications. Don't fall for it, folks. So, one of the first few points, during the time of the Jedi Civil War, Zerka, under the leadership of President Palaraciero, allied itself with the Sith. It supplied the contemporary Sith Empire armies, and the Sith supplied exclusive trade rights on conquered planets. Because of this and early behavior, Zerka gained a reputation as an unethical opportunist. Not all of Zerka's enterprises at this time were successful. Indeed, many became financial disasters. An example of this was its operation of and involvement in the Wookiee slave trade, which, although illegal in the Republic, was made possible by legal loopholes concerning cash exploitation. This lucrative market was ended when the visiting Revan, along with his Wookiee companion Zalbar, helped instigate a revolt. The Wookiees then proceeded to drive the company from the planet. Zerka sought to conceal the setback through a public announcement that it was scaling back regional operations, but was met with skepticism. The deaths of so many personnel led to questions regarding their reassignment, which Zerka refused to answer. So yes, that's a huge spoiler for folks who didn't play KOTOR. Sorry. Another failed Zerka enterprise at this time was the claim it laid to the planet Tatooine. Responding to enthusiastic surveys, a number of outposts, including the town of Anchorhead, yes, Anchorhead, were built and mining operations begun. To its subsequent dismay, Zerka became another in a long line of companies deceived by Tatooine's inferior, quickly corroding ore. Zerka archaeologists in the Dune Sea also dug up a reconnaissance artifact from the Infinite Empire which drove its employees mad. Nevertheless, such an investment had been made that officials were unwilling to close it down, and the sale of ore from Tatooine continued. Customers and investments declined, and marauding bands of natives also proved a source of trouble for the corporation. Revan became involved here as well when the administrator of Anchorhead hired him to butcher the local tribes of Sand People. The amnesiac Jedi, unknown to his employer, deftly avoided this by negotiating a reduction in attacks with the tribe's chieftain. Eventually, however, Zerka did depart Tatooine, abandoning the sandcrawlers and their settlements. And guess where the sandcrawlers ended up, folks? Other enterprises included a work colony at Dresde on the ancient Sith homeworld of Korriban. Zerka supplied freighters and supplies to the local Sith Academy in accordance with its Sith alliance. In the years after the war, Zerka sought to ingratiate itself with the victorious but shaken Republic through involvement in the reconstruction effort of Telos IV. The deal was this. Zerka supplied workers and investment in return for exclusive exploitation of Telosian resources, including rights to any abandoned war material. Success, it was hoped, would bring the company similar contracts and other reconstruction projects. Zerka, however, clashed with the Ithorians running the project and the Telosian branch. In alliance with the local exchange, acquired control of several restoration zones, all of which soon were ruined. But if not for the intervention of the Jedi exile Meeter Surik, Telos might well have followed. During the time of the Cold War, a proxy conflict between the Sith Empire and the Galactic Republic, Zerka Corps was victim to several slicer attacks. The company's officials offered a reward to any other slicer who could help the security breaches. Sometime after the Next Republic defeated the Sith, Zerka, perhaps wanting to disassociate itself from its past, changed its name to Zerka Arms. Zerka sold their products freely during the days of the Galactic Republic, for example, selling Zerka Outland rifles to the Kaleesh during the War with the Hook, but signed an exclusivity contract with the Galactic Empire when it rose to power. However, Zerka munitions made their way to aftermarket sales from warehouses despite the official stance of the company. One example of this was the Zerka ZX miniature flame projector used by the bounty hunter Boba Fett. During the Galactic Civil War, Zerka was on the list of legitimate targets for rebel privateers. When the New Republic replaced the Galactic Empire, Zerka ended its contract with the Empire and offered its products once more to the Galactic market, even going so far as to actively pursue production contracts with the New Republic. Zerka maintained its position as the third largest weapons manufacturer in the galaxy, superseded only by Blastech and Mirasan. Zerka produced some energy weapons, but found a niche in the manufacture of non-blaster personal weapons and non-standard munitions, such as flame projectors, fiber blades, and slug throwers. Zerka's reputation and ethics. Zerka, at least in its earlier days, was widely known as a successful, if unscrupulous, corporation. Illegal and unethical revenue-generating practices were tolerated, sometimes encouraged by sectoral offices, so long as the flow of credits was uninterrupted and work did not leak out. Likewise, the politics of its customers were overlooked for the sake of lucrative markets. Also, as might be expected in such a corporation, rumors spread of profiteering, particularly that Zerka officials had allowed starvation of colonists when their high prices were not met. This distaste did not, however, compromise Zerka's income. During the Old Republic era, Zerka was a sponsor in the Hut-run death game, Hutball, supplying many of the death traps used in the popular sport. One of Zerka's most foolhardy projects was the creation of the HK-51 assassin droid, modeled after HK-47. A large shipment was purchased by the Sith Empire, but disappeared somewhere over Belsavis. Zerka also engaged in the illicit slave trade. During the Jedi Civil War, Wookiees from Kashyyyk, regarded as savage brutes because of their animalistic speech and appearance, were a prime source. Violent resistance by the Wookiees reinforced this belief. Nevertheless, negotiations with the usurper Shundar led to a mutual aid agreement in which Zerka supplied him with weapons with which the forces ruled, and he supplied Zerka with slaves. As previously described, this agreement was ended when Revan aligned himself with Chundar's deposed father, Freyr, and encouraged a revolt. Chundar was killed and Zerka evicted. On Telos IV, Zerka's illicit actions came to light and caused repercussions for the whole corporation. Under the effective leadership of Jana Lorso, encroachments were made into the Ithorians within Chodo Habat's reconstruction team's sphere of influence. Alliance with the Exchange and death expectation of Telos' own laws enabled Lorso to steadily marginalize the Ithorians. The arrival of Meeter Surik changed this. Befriending Chodo and his herd, she gathered information which exposed Zerka's activities. In the end, Zerka was ordered to leave all Telosian holdings and to stand trial, and that it was fully removed by the time of the Battle of Telos IV. And that's an end to the quick summary of the history of Zerka Corporation, of Zerka Arms. Hope you all enjoyed it. I want to say thank you to Wikipedia, StarWars.com, TheForce.net, and all the other Star Wars lore sites out there. Folks, if you enjoy the lore as much as I do, please visit these sites, look up your favorite topics, and enjoy.
Very nice, Lou. So did you hear, Lou, that we actually have some new books that are coming into the Star Wars universe that are actually canonical now?
Are we? What kind of books?
Like Star Wars: A New Dawn,
Hmm.
which sets the tone between Episode 3. Well, I suppose it's set 6 years prior to the events of Star Wars Rebels.
Okay, so... Gosh, I forgot what timeline Rebels is set. I know Rebels is set in... Oh my gosh, that's a new series from Disney. I'm trying to remember the timeline they're in.
See, I'm looking too because I have it actually up here on the website right now. But this is the first of the books that is actually canonical now. Any book that was released after April of 2014 is now canon.
Okay, so that's going to tie in with the new series from Disney, Star Wars Rebels, which I'm going to assume is canonical anyway.
Yes, it is. And this book here just released on September 2nd.
Okay, Jay is saying in the chat it's tied into Rebels, same characters and some backstory for them. Okay.
Yeah, so this is something I'm definitely going to check out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the series, actually. I mean, overall, I enjoy Clone Wars, but after a while, when Luke started retconning a lot of stuff, I stopped watching it. But I'm actually looking forward to Star Wars Rebels. Just seeing, what Disney's gonna do with, I guess one of the first major forays into the Star Wars IP.
Well, the author has actually worked on quite a bit of Star Wars stuff. He is John Jackson Miller, which I'm not going to get into his whole bio, but the first sentence is that he is an American comic book author. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of where they're coming from.
Right, so at least he's familiar with the Star Wars universe then overall, which is good.
Yes. And so now I think it's time to move into the community holofeed.
Yes, the holofeed, where we talk about your emails, tweets, and Facebook feedback. And as always, the trivia question of the week, where each week we're going to post a trivia question into our YouTube video version of the show. Simply go to StarWarsBeyond.com and we'll link you right to the episode. On the episode page, there will be a button for you to press to see the trivia question of the week. Alternatively, it'll always be after we say our goodbyes. Then shoot us an email with your answer to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. In the email, please include your character name, what faction you play on, did I mention faction, please, and the server you are on as well. If there is more than one correct answer, we'll do a random drawing to win the cartel pack. Everyone that answers correctly will be entered into a drawing for a much larger prize, which we'll draw on the show every few months. You can be entered into the grand prize drawing every time you answer correctly.
Now, we actually had 2 correct entries this week, and we did our random drawing before the show. So who was our winner this week, Lou?
So this week's winner is Ryan Abel. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Hope I'm slaughtering his name, aka Nameless Noob, who is on JC, Jedi Covenant.
Ooh, represent.
Yep.
I'll stop.
All right, and for those who are still wondering what the answer was to last week's question, okay, the answer is it's Duchess Satine Prize. Okay, if you watch Clone Wars, it's Satine, the Mandalorian, trying to lead her people to a new peaceful way of life for the Mandos.
Yeah, people.
When you say Duchess, I just think of that whiny chick at the wall.
Oh my god. All my characters are like, they call you what?
Duchess? But yes, the answer is Satine. And if you watch the Clone Wars, you know exactly what happens to her. Sad.
Oh my god.
Just saying. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Also, correct answer was from Chris or Christopher S. So, Nameless and Christopher, remember you guys are entered in for the grand or larger prize drawing, so keep that in mind. It'll be coming up one of these days. Be on the lookout for it.
As far as Twitter goes, we had a ton of Twitter feedback during our break. Thank you, everyone, for that. And next week, we'll be back to actually including it in the show. There was way too much to type up and read this week. And now we're on to emails.
So, Billy Ando wrote, "Hi all, Billy Ando here. I just thought about what SOE could be. Scourge of the Empire. Also, what ZZ said for the stronghold on Corellia. It could be a bunker in one of the Warzone maps on Corellia. Thanks, just wanted to tell someone what I thought. P.S. Love listening to your roleplay podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Always make me laugh.
Roleplay?
just-
What roleplay? Shut up, freak.
That was the droid. You hit the droid.
Can I just throw that out there? I'm pretty sure I'm the one that said it could be a bunker too, right? Did I say that?
Quit trying to take credit for ZZ.
Listen,
I don't even think ZZ said that.
girlfriend. All right. Travis wrote, "Hello, everybody. Great work on the show. Last episode, you had talked about how all speeders should adjust to the level of speeder piloting that you have. I completely agree with this, but it got me thinking. How would you guys feel about speeders having 3 to 5 slots to put parts that would raise your speed percentage? You would need a mechanic station to change parts, and you could customize color as well. I think this would be fun, and you could add perks like once your speeder is maxed out. I was thinking around 200%. It would unlock a perk that made it to where you couldn't aggro mobs. I really like to hear what you would think of this."
Ooh, I'll go first.
Okay.
I think that this would be a great system if it would have been the system that BioWare had in mind when they first designed the game. But the way things currently are, when you get a speeder, all it does is assign a skill to your character to actually conjure that speeder out of nothing and ride it. And since the speeder isn't a physical object that you have to hold on to, there'd be no way to actually mod it like a piece of gear and put things into it. And now that the game has gone free to play, they'll never let you change the color of your speeder because they want to sell you a different one that looks different.
Yeah, I was going to say, I am totally agreeing with you. I mean, if they had designed the speeders from the get-go, the game's very beginning, to be moddable this way, I think at this point in the game's life, I don't know how hard it would be to program it, but it would probably take some doing. And then how to assign it to where now you can upgrade it like your ship, like your starship, or like your galactic starfighter. And I think before we would ever see something like this, I mean, I like this idea because it's something that I had seen in Star Wars Galaxies, where your speeder, whether it was a speeder bike or an actual speeder, okay, yeah, you actually had to put it together. Okay, you had to put parts in it to make it go faster or make it perform better. And I think before BioWare ever does something like this, I think they will definitely make it a cartel market item because it's too good an opportunity for them to pass up. I mean, as Fred mentioned, they sell us reskins of other speeders openly on the CM. I could totally see them doing it here with this.
Even sell reskins of the collector's edition model.
Mm-hmm.
I have to agree with Lou. I think it's an opportunity for them to make money. And I also like it because I think it kind of contributes to the immersion. Like, you can't just have a speeder and it'd be awesome. I mean, in reality, when you buy a vehicle, you sometimes have to put some work into it to maximize its potential. I think it could be fun. Do I think it's possible? I don't know about that.
It's simple. Give every speeder durability, and then if you don't repair it in time, it'll break down.
Wouldn't that suck?
Yeah, it'll break down, or it just won't conjure. You'll say your speed. It'll appear as the hot rig speeder bike. It's all busted up and smoking and sparking.
I would like
and
it
it won't
better
go anywhere.
if it exploded and killed you.
Please.
Oh my god, that would be hysterical.
I was going to say that would be the perfect way to spread around the Raccoon Plague.
And if it's the lucky 77 speeder, everybody around you gets free credits.
I was just going to say that, wouldn't that suck? Like, you're in a terrible place, you're trying to get the hell out of Dodge, and suddenly, since you're getting beat down because you're in such a terrible place, your speeder breaks down. And then there's just nowhere to go. You have to run on foot.
See, that's why you always run with, I have at least 3 or 4 speeders on a hot bar.
Yeah, conjure up one of the other 5 promotional speeders that you have.
Exactly. Unless they're all busted too. Because, I didn't repair any of them. I'm so dead.
Oh, it costs 1 million credits to repair this one?
I'd rather die.
And just think, if this system was in the game, you would actually have to reach into your Tauntaun and upgrade his cybernetics from the one opening that Tauntauns have.
Talking about his butt.
Lou, next email.
All right,
Save
next
us.
email comes from Carms. And he writes in, or she, don't know. Hi, guys. Really enjoying the podcast, especially the occasional role-playing. Any chance of a short 5-minute segment piece each week where we can hear more of the backstory and or the adventures of the Crimson Seabiscuit Hawk? Also, as a production tip, Lou's segment on lore is fantastic but seems a bit clinical. Thank you. Just having a Star Wars themed audio track playing quietly in the background would help make the segment pop. Pop and roll.
May I comment on this, please?
No. Susie, what do you think?
Son of a bee.
ID10T, get away from my blaster.
Good feedback. But in all seriousness, we are planning on doing more projects like episode 0 was.
We were actually talking about that before we went live. So never fear. There are plans. As far as the production tip, I kind of like that. I don't know how difficult it would be on the editing side of things, but I do like it.
Well, I'll have to talk to our producer after the show.
So what do you think, Lou?
Well, the occasional role playing, I mean, as Paige mentioned, yeah, we did talk about that before tonight's show. And so, look for them, folks. So maybe coming down the road, who knows? And, yeah, I mean, I understand it kind of, at times it does kind of sound dry. Because what I usually do is I pull the information straight from the sites that I mentioned, especially Wikipedia and Force.net, StarWars.com. But what I'll try and do is maybe come on, it doesn't sound so cut and dry like an actual history class that you have in school. But I'll work on it.
Like Bueller.
Yeah, exactly. And now we're going to talk about the history of the intelligentsia, Moscow, late 1800s.
And this week, everybody, we're going to talk about the Galactic Republic Part 5. Turn your textbooks to page 294 and fall asleep as I begin to read.
I don't know what that was for. Like, what was the country accent for?
I don't know.
All right, moving on.
That's how school teachers sound.
Where?
Clearly not an imperial education.
Yes, that's her public school.
Oh my.
In the backwoods.
So, Paige, it appears that we're done talking about this one, so what's going on in the SWTOR community?
You can check out these up-to-date podcast episodes. We have Galactic Gamers Coalition. Episode 4 is available on iTunes since August the 27th. ToroCast, episode 212, posted on September 8th. www.torocast.com. Corellian Run Radio, episode 125, is available on CorellianRunRadio.com since the 2nd of September. UntiniCast, episode 163, is available at UntiniCast.com since the 4th of September. The Unnamed SWTOR Podcast, episode 55, posted on the 3rd, can be found at GadokGaming.com. SWTOR Escape Podcast, episode 54, available at NewOverlords.com since the 2nd. Old Republic Radio, episode 76, on the 2nd, is available on iTunes. Healing SWTOR released another episode on the 2nd to iTunes. Enmity Podcast, episode 51, released on the 1st to iTunes. And the Bad Feeling Podcast, episode 30, posted on September 4th to iTunes and thebadfeelingpodcast.com. Be warned, that podcast is explicit. Also, follow Madmore at SWTOR Family on Twitter for the latest happenings in the SWTOR community. And if you'd like to have your podcast listed in this segment, send us an email at starwarsbeyond@gmail.com.
Yes, and Bad Feeling Podcast is at badfeelingpodcast.com, not thebadfeelingpodcast.com.
Oh, did I say that? Sorry, guys. My bad.
Also, Corellian Run Radio is at CorellianRun.com.
What did I say?
CorellianRunRadio.com.
Jesus, take the wheel. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. At least you remembered to include them. Brian forgot half the SWTOR community on his show.
Oh, Lord. Shots fired, everybody.
Hear the bus noise again?
Goodness.
You can find out more about our show at StarWarsBeyond.com. You can like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/StarWarsBeyondPodcast. You can email us, StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. You can tweet us. The show is at StarWarsBeyond. I am at SithLordKorv, KORV. Lou is at GamerGuy11B. Paige is at Asaphiry. ASAPHIRY. And ZZ is at ZZ Corrode. And now it's time for our final thoughts.
This was a great but long-winded episode. Especially at the beginning. But we had 2 weeks to cover, and I think that gives us all of the right to go on about ourselves, because that's the most fun thing to talk about. Yes. I hope the Force brings me lots of money.
Where's that damn escape pod?
Oh, don't shove him in the escape pod again. My final thoughts. I agree, it was a little bit of a long-winded episode, but we did have 2 weeks, so that's kind of the reason for that. Also, apologizing for the tangents, because sometimes Fred and I talk about things that no one knows what's going on.
So anyway, my final thoughts. It's been a great 2 weeks. Glad to be back. Thoroughly enjoyed the holiday, but looking forward to getting into some more game time in the Tor universe. And looking forward to update 2.10.
2.1, what?
And my final thoughts. It is great to be back on the mic with you guys again. 2-week break was, I don't want to say necessary, but it was welcome for a holiday. But it is great to be back and actually talking some SWTOR with you guys again. Especially because we didn't skip our gameplay that week. We just didn't record the show because the show was on Mondays and that was the holiday. Nobody's going to back me up on that one.
Huh? What? Yeah, many agree. I'm sorry.
Very well.
Beyond the Stars is an independently recorded fan podcast made in association with NSG Productions. And now it's time to say goodnight.
Hunt the bounty.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Take care from Imperial Intelligence.
Let's leave.
You've served your purpose.
Beyond the Stars trivia question for the week of September 8th, 2014. First clue. Orphaned as a young child, I was raised instead by those who slew my parents. Second clue. In my youth and during my training, I would meet my best friend, who in turn became the only love of my life. Third clue. During Great Galactic Conflict, my capture would force me to become two personalities. Fourth clue. A promise to see my long-lost love whenever I desired led me astray down the path of darkness. Fifth and final clue. During my life, I would openly serve light and dark, but my redemption would begin my healing process as a person. Who am I? Alright, everyone, please remember to include your character name, what faction you're on, and the server you play in to our email address at StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. Good luck, everyone.